another material I want to demonstrate shading with is a water-soluble graphite pencil, and you can get them in several different brands. I really like the General Sketch and Wash pencil, and the one I'm going to demonstrate with is the Lyra water-soluble graphite stick. I'm going to use this stick because this is the material that I've sent home with my home learning students, and it's a little bit wider, but you set up your drawing the same way you did with pencil, and you're going to use the same value scale that you used, and finding those light and dark areas just like you did with the regular pencil. And then instead of using your pencil, you're going to use this material. And you're also going to need a cup of water and a paintbrush to do this. But one thing that I love about these is it gets the job done quicker, but you have to keep in mind that it gets really dark really easy when you add the water. So I don't shade in my dark area as dark as I would with the regular pencil, because you'll see when I add the water here in just a second, it's gonna make it really dark. And then I leave a lot of my middle ground just white and pull the color from my dark area into those sections. Just with the water. Because if I were to shade it just like with the regular pencil, I wouldn't be able to get all the middle tones. And if you want to try this, I would practice it first. I really love it. It's one of my favorite new art supplies that I just experienced in the last several years. So find all those dark and middle ground colors. You can put a little bit of shading in there, and then it will be time to add the water. So I'm just taking water on a paintbrush. It's kind of like watercolor paint, but when you add the water to it, see how dark that gets so quick. And it will be really handy if you have like a paper towel or a napkin nearby, so if you get a little bit too much on your brush, you can pat it a little bit, get some of that water off your brush. I'm just going to go through, do my dark area. So right there I got a little too much water. That's going to bother me. And I would make sure when you're doing your tiny details like stems that you don't have too much water on your brush, because it will smear pretty quickly. Alright, and then I'm just going to take more water and I'm just going to pull some of that into my apple to get some of those middle tones. So you just add water and pull. You want to pull it from the dark areas you've already made so that you get some different values. You gotta be careful when you're going around your light area, your light source, that you don't accidentally cover it up, because this, you can't blend this with your finger. And I do find they erase a little bit, but after you've added the water, it's really hard to use the eraser tool as well. Just go in and try to blend some of that a little bit. And you can, when it dries, go back over it, add some of that texture like you did with your pencil drawing, or you could take some and pull some in. Just go into those dark areas with your brush. Get some of that color. And one last thing before we close out, I was able to go in and use my eraser a little bit, and I did find that it worked a little bit. You can't get it completely white, but it did do the job and really smooth some of those tones out that I accidentally went over too dark. But one last thing I wanted to note is I'm really disappointed in myself in part 1 and part 2. I made the stem a little bit too big, so it either looks like a pumpkin or a cherry. So I just wanted to point that out. Everyone's their own worst critic, even the art teacher. But just be careful if you're doing a piece of fruit with a stem that you make it proportional and not exaggerate it too much. And happy creating!